Salam and peace to everyone. Today's video is a panel discussion for Glasgow University's Islam Awareness Week. So enjoy.
It's a delight to welcome you here today to our panel discussion. But it's a real privilege to be joined here today by you ladies. Some of you I know a little bit better, some of you I've only met once. But I've been struck by your confidence and strength of character. So that's why I've kind of invited you here today. And I hope you can continue to be an inspiration to all of us. So we are joined by Ustada Khadija, Sister Lindsay Taylor, and Sister Aisha. Maybe you can start off by talking a little bit about what you do kind of in your day-to-day life.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I am actually a madrasa teacher. I teach I-syllabus for schools. I'm also the project manager for Zia al-Quran, for I-syllabus for schools and for general everyday mosque life. I studied in Yemen for 5 years in Tarim in Hadramaut.
So my name's Lindsay Taylor. My day job, I run an environmental project with West Scotland Regional Quality Council, supporting ethnic minority, refugee and asylum seekers to engage with their environmental journey. Outside of the job I get paid for, I do lots of other jobs as well. I sit on the board for Muslim Council Scotland. I also support MEND, which is the Muslim Education and Development Organisation, tackling Islamophobia. I sit on the board of Interfaith Scotland. Also SAFR, which is Scottish Faith Action for Refugees. Side by Side, which is an organisation for Christian and Muslim women to do interfaith dialogue. And we work in key areas like period poverty, helping women to engage with civic society and also the climate journey as well. And I've also recently opened a business with my husband. It's an Islamic shop over in the south side of Glasgow, so pretty busy. Yeah.
So my name is Aisha. I'm a college teacher working in London. Things I do on the side, BBC The Social. My videos are created to break stereotypes and misconceptions of Muslims and Islam. I also do things like Instagram and YouTube on the side as well. And I'm still a student. I'm studying a Masters in Leading Education.
Yeah, so you have a wide variety of interesting and very varied roles. Maybe you can kind of start off by maybe talking a little bit about how you came to Islam. What kind of piqued your interest in Islam?
I can't really say there was any one particular thing that piqued my interest in Islam. It was just something in me that felt the need for something greater than what was going on. I suppose there was there was uni, there was going to work, or there was going out partying, and there was going out just you would eat, sleep, drink, party, go to work, go to uni, and it's just like this routine. And I felt like my soul was crying for something more, something bigger than what I was. And my family came here from Russia and they were Orthodox Christian. So for me, it was I didn't really get Orthodox Christianity. I didn't really get Christianity full stop. For me, I felt like something confusing. So I kind of looked around. I looked at Judaism, I looked at Sikhism, I looked at a variety of things. But my heart just pulled me towards Islam. It just had that pull. It's just the bits and pieces that I picked up from it, it was just wow, okay, that makes sense. That makes absolute sense. It was my physical being and my spiritual being were for the first time ever just as one, and it's okay, this is the way to go. Without telling anybody, went and took my shahada. Didn't tell my friends, I didn't tell my family, I just went and did it because I knew there was still a fear that was inside me, and at this moment I felt brave. So I was just okay, let me just go do it. So I just went to the first mosque I could find and I took my shahada. That's kind of how I kind of started my journey and came into Islam.
My journey was similarly different. It's the same, always searching, but never realised I was searching. So I met my husband 17 years ago, and 2 years after we met, I was at my brother's wedding. He got married up north in a little village, and in the morning of the wedding, my husband and I were walking up the road, country roads, and there was a bumblebee in the middle of the road, and it was dying. and my husband bent down to pick it up, and I went, don't sting you. And he even did the same reaction every time, don't sting you. And so he picked it up, he went, and he picked it up, and he went to the side of the road, because it's a country road, so it's all full of flowers, and he put the bumblebee in a flower, and he turned to me and he said, everything has the right to die in beauty. And I thought, I want that. I want a feeling in my soul because I don't have it. And I want that disregard for yourself because you're doing the work of Allah. And I want to be able to have that. A lot of people say, oh, so you're Muslim for your husband. And no, I'm not Muslim for my husband. I'm Muslim for me, but it was my husband that sent me off on that journey. It was through his beautiful practice and his beautiful character that sent me on that journey.
When I was Muslim, I would say I was an agnostic, so I didn't really believe in religion. I love history, so I understood how previous governments used religion and, you know, to kind of get what they wanted and to influence the masses. But I did believe that there was something higher than me. I didn't know what it was. So I had a mix of non-Muslim friends and non-practicing Muslim friends. Some of the non-practicing Muslim friends had family visiting them from down south. And they were the most amazing people I had ever met. Like, they were just funny, but so humble at the same time. Like, they owned the room, and you know, they had like I know what it is now, but it's like a light. There was just something beaming from them, even though it wasn't visible. There was just something beaming from their character, and it just really impressed me. We were supposed to be going out that night with the non-practicing Muslim friends, and we asked them to come with us. The place we would have been going would have had alcohol and music, and so we asked them and they refused. And they were like, no, we're practicing Muslims, we don't do that. So me and some other non-Muslim friends had a choice to make. Either we go out and we have fun, or we stay with these lovely people and we have a good evening with them. So we refused to go out that night. But them refusing in the way that they did opened a line of communication for us to ask questions. And that one in the middle right there interrogated she interrogated the life out of them, like all the stereotypes we had, and just we found the opportunity for those stereotypes to be answered. And not long after that, we decided we can't unhear what we were told, because it wasn't just them talking. They would reference everything from the Quran, and that blew my mind. You know, I was like, I don't want your opinion, I want to know facts. And they were like, yeah, no, but we hear about black and white really easy. Like, well, okay, but you know, so we were so impressed by that. And we did some research, some independent research, and we came this way.
That was actually really interesting to hear, because our theme for the week is actually faith, fact, or feeling. And I think listening to your stories, I could identify a little bit of kind of elements of both. Now, perhaps you could tell us how your lives have kind of changed since becoming Muslim, how your kind of your relationship with your faith has changed.
How long do we have? So how has my life changed since becoming Muslim? Well, it's literally night and day. Like, you know, that's like, if you want to keep it basic, it's like night and day. Like, everything about my life and who I am changed. We kind of live in a society where we think we know who we are. We think we are recognised by the people that we hang out with, the education level we've achieved, the job that we keep. Like, you know, we think these are things who make us who we are. But actually, it goes much deeper than that, because that journey took me all the way to Yemen. It took me all the way to be with people who lives and breathes Islam. Like, you know, everything about their life is Islam. When I came back from Yemen, I lived with non-Muslim parents. Even my Islam has made my relationship with my non-Muslim parents better. That's how faith changed me.
So to me, everything and nothing has changed. I'm still me. I didn't change my name. I still very much so see the person that I was before in there. Just different, just calmer. That's probably the thing that my family say the most, is like, God, you're so calm now. And I'm not, like, I'm still an absolute mentalist, but they always go about it, like how much Islam has calmed you down, and you're so much more grounded. To be honest with you, my life before, if I'd stayed on that path, I'd be dead right now. And that's one thing my family do say. If I had stayed on the path I was on, I would be dead, and that's not an exaggeration. I did a lot of very risky things. And Islam saved me and saved that. Because of that, I'm grateful every day that I'm a Muslim. My family, even though they're not Muslim, is grateful that I'm Muslim. Because they say the same, that Islam coming into my life saved me. But I have always been a total freedom fighter. I've always been the type of person who is there for the community and wants to work with the community and wants to push the community forward. And I was protesting when I was in my buggy and all that kind of stuff. So that kind of stuff is still there. That's never changed. It's just taken on different directions, and I found a better focus for it. But to me, inside I'm still the same. I've just lost a lot of the craziness on the outside.
I think I'm probably in the middle, I do very much respect my old self, half my family still call me by my first name, and that's absolutely fine. You can't be who you are now without being grateful for who you were. Now that person was a very different person, but at the same time it's still me. My relationship with Islam, it has evolved over the years, like myself. It's kind of like gaining a new friendship. You like them and you trust them, but you don't know everything about them yet. And so when that moves on to years later, like the friend is yours. I mean, they belong to you now. You love them so much, and you trust them with everything, and you find stability in that relationship. That relationship you're dependent on, you need it. So it is very much like that, if that makes sense. When I found Islam, that's the thing about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, his timing is perfect, and I really found it at a time where I needed it most, and he's never let me down.
I kind of asked you guys to share with me a piece of art that means a lot to you. So I'll just kind of project the artwork up.
I've always loved the medium of photography. Does anybody know what that is? Dome of the Rock? Dome of the Rock, well done. So my husband bought this picture in a charity shop, and it was all gnarly, and that picture looks amazing, that picture actually, because see, even my hall doesn't look that impressive. It's it looks like you can't see how golden the dome is, you can't see the colours, you can see probably from that picture there's a bit of scaffolding going on at the dome and stuff. So my husband brought this picture home from a Chinese shop years ago. Even before I was Muslim, I felt an affinity with Al-Aqsa. I felt I had to go there, and I never knew why. And I love that picture, and it means a lot to me. But it didn't mean a lot, as much as you would think, until I went to Al-Aqsa. So alhamdulillah, I was lucky enough 4 years ago to travel to Al-Aqsa, and I've been there 3 or 4 times since then. And it's like you were saying, it's the people. It's the people there. You can feel the deen. It resonates in everything there. You can feel it. You can touch it. You're sitting at the cafe, having your tea, and you're chatting about Muslim things, because you do. Muslim people, you chat about Muslim things, and suddenly somebody will turn around and they'll say, "Oh, sister, I like what you're saying, but the Quran says this, and the Hadith says it," but they say it so gently, and so it's not like you're getting it wrong. It's "Oh, sister, let me help you, and I'm here to," and then you start this big conversation, and it's amazing, and the humblest of people. Just the humbleness of the people, the humbleness of the place. When I walked through the gates into Al-Aqsa compound and I saw the Dome of the Rock for the first time, I sobbed, and my husband sobbed, and the two of us just stood in each other's arms, just sobbing. And every time I've gone back since then, I felt the same, and I've done the same. And every time I've gone back since then, it's the people. It's the people who support you, who you go to other places, and Muslim countries as well, and you say, "Excuse me, I'm lost, can you give me directions?" And some of the men sometimes, "No, sisters." You go to the men in Jerusalem and you go, "I'm lost," and you go, "Sister, let me get my wife." And you go, no, 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 it's okay, you can tell me the directions. They say, okay, okay, sister, are you okay? Do you need any help apart from the directions? And you say, no, I'm fine. And you go, okay. But they're so humble and they're so practicing, and their practice is so beautiful. I was lucky enough to be there on the 27th night of Ramadan this year, and they have a Qibla. The Qibla mosque is in front, Dome of the Rock, women only. Third most holy site in the whole of the Muslim world, women only in that mosque on the 27th night of Ramadan. Men in the Qibla, women in the Dome of the Rock, family area over here outside under the olive trees. Alhamdulillah, it's so beautiful, it's magical. So me and my husband went there because he didn't want me to be by myself, he was worried about me. So we went there, and there's different levels, the ground's all a bit uneven and stuff, and there was a platform here and a platform here. There was women on the platform here, and there was men behind them on the platform. And Azan went, and somebody went, obviously once Azan finished, somebody went, oh, the men are behind the women. The women have to move. This man was not from Jerusalem. The women have to move. The brothers, who were clearly from Jerusalem, turned around and said, you move. The men cleared the whole space. It became a women-only space, and the men were over there. Alhamdulillah, that to me is Islam, and that to me is the beauty and the everything of what Islam should be. And every time I look at that picture, I am humbled by the people, I'm humbled by what they do, I'm humbled by their presence, and so I love that picture beyond anything, and because it shows me and reminds me what our deen is meant to be.
Sure. Okay, I need to apologise in advance, guys, but I'm also, I said I teach college, I teach art. So art can be anything, right? In this case, it's a poem, okay? So you can't read it from there because it's very small. And so this is a poem this was actually the first poem that I had put out online. And it's about being Muslim and being Scottish, okay? Because I found that, don't cry, don't cry. I found that the story behind it was, after I became Muslim, I was extremely overwhelmed by how my non-Muslim friends or people I knew before, how they viewed me after that. Felt like they thought that I was a different person. I mean, I went from one day not wearing hijab to the next day wearing hijab, and the differences between those 2 days were mind-blowing, and it really irritated me. It left me really frustrated. This poem was basically me trying to reason with those people and say, you know, like, I get it, I look different, but actually I'm the same person. As it develops, it's almost for me fighting to like keep my identity, like my new identity that I love, you know. And then as it develops, it kind of finishes with, you know, do you know what, if you don't see me as the same, then that's absolutely fine, you don't need to, but you know, this is me now. I am Muslim and I am Scottish, you accept it or you don't, but either way, like, I'm still me. Not the best poetry I've wrote, trust me, but it was the first one that had the, you know, like the guts enough to put it out there and to let people hear, so yeah.
I'm going to read it. Seriously, read it, please.
A day came when I changed and things would never be the same. I didn't realise, no one told me, that after my declaration my people would disown me. But why? I don't understand. Not much is different. When I open my mouth, you can still hear my accent. When you look into my eyes, you can still see my forefathers and ancestors before me. It's the same blood that runs through my veins. Only good has came from my change. Every day my priority is to be better, to show strength and example, and not to lose my temper. Not being mad at the people who now call me a traitor. Saying I did it for a man when no man is worth it. Saying that I'm oppressed and have no choice and I shouldn't put up with it. My whole life, I followed someone else, but this time I made the decision to listen to myself. I'm Muslim and I am Scottish. That's something you or I can't change. It was given to me, a gift for me, and you can't take it away. I still find solace in the glens. In fact, my love is greater. Seeing Scotland's true beauty that came from our Creator. I don't need to ditch my identity because it is what I make it. I'm Muslim and I am Scottish. Take it or leave it. We're all different, and that's okay. It's about respect, kindness, and love all the way. Wanting for your brother what you want for yourself. I am Muslim and I am Scottish, just in case you couldn't tell.
This is actually a picture of, I chose for my artwork / anything else, a picture of my teacher. I chose this picture because I found a beauty in this picture of his humanity. He's just sitting there having some soup. His whole life is like Allah. His whole life is the Prophet ﷺ. I don't think there's one sunnah that he's left. He follows the sunnah so beautifully that if you ask any of his wives who is his favourite wives, they all say me. The reason why I chose to show a picture of my teacher is because he is so instrumental in my journey. He is literally, I call him Dad. In Arabic, I'm like, he's my Abba. Every time I talk about him, I literally start crying. So if I start crying, you're going to need to forgive me. He believed in me when nobody else did. When I kind of like rolled up to Yemen, I 100% Glaswegian, couldn't speak a word of Arabic. I mean, not one word of Arabic. The extent of my Arabic was Salam Alaikum. Right? And he took me in. He treated me just like one of his daughters. My relationship with God was just as important as their relationship with God. He always used to say to me, he used to say, Ya Khadija, he's like, if any man wants to marry you, they need to speak to me. He's like, because I won't let you go to just anybody. He became my father, he became my best friend, he became like the companion, he became, whenever I'm upset, he's the one that I would ask for. When I think about my relationship with him, it shows me the manifestation of Allah's mercy. Allah has sent me on this wild journey, but it all started off with this man. To me, he is Dad. He's also a big scholar, but in my heart somewhere, he's Dad. You know, and I wouldn't be able to do this without him if I never had his support. I really don't think that I could sit here in front of you guys and say anything what I'm saying.
So we're just going to have a short break for Maghrib, and after that we will have some questions from the floor for our panelists. Don't be shy. Yes, indeed.
So how did changing dress when you first came to Islam, so like wearing hijab, affect how people perceive you in everyday lives?
So maybe I can kind of direct that question to Aisha.
Why is it because I'm... The poem before was kind of about image, because at that time when I had changed, it was only the material that I put on that changed me. I didn't overnight just become, you know, a bit sheer, or like, you know. The build up to wearing the hijab was just crazy. You know, we definitely overthought it. You know, like I think we had this image in our head that as soon as we go outside with the hijab, we were going to get attacked, or we were going to get, like, you know, judged, or people were going to abuse us, or, you know. But initially, the first night that we went out, the two of us kind of geared each other up, like, yeah, right, we're going to do it, we're going to do it today, we're going to go outside to the shop, and then we're going to walk back, and that's it. We're just going to do it. If you saw the hijabs, I mean, we should have got abused. We should have, honestly. hers had kittens on it. 15 years ago, there was no, like, you can buy things online, and it was Glasgow. We didn't know anywhere you would get this sort of stuff. But mine's was like 3 different colours. It was like red, orange and green with like black stuff over it. It was just so random. And hers was a square hijab, so she kind of had to like tie it.
That's what we granny.
It was just, honestly, we looked a state, right? But we put it on, we were like, right, we're ready, we're going to do it. We linked arms. As people were approaching, we were like, right, okay. I passed on, and you know, they didn't even notice us, they didn't even look at us, we felt they didn't even see us. It was almost like we were invisible. And then someone else would come like, right, okay, stay strong, you know? And then we would walk and nothing. We went into the shop and nothing. We walked back and nothing. And it wasn't because we weren't seeing people, it's just people didn't care. You know, we needed that night. We needed that night because everything after that was crazy. You know, we did get judged for being who we are. And I do get judged now for being a niqabi. But I think what we learned from that night is, you know, we had to take a leaf out of the people's book who were passing us. Like, I don't care. You don't care. You shouldn't care, and I don't care. You know, that it's be you and do you and try and enjoy yourself along the way. You know.
The only thing that I'd like to add is it was many years before I started wearing hijab full time, and I have to be totally honest. And like, I love wearing hijab. Inshallah, I never take it off. But honestly, I didn't know what it was to be hated to put hijab on. And looking around the room with the sisters wearing hijab, like, hats off to you every single day for going out in this climate, this political climate, and having to face it, because it is not easy. It is not an easy journey. I know so many sisters who have taken it off, and you know, brothers, this is not a dig at any of you, but you should be just giving so much respect to your sisters every single day, that they are flying the flag of Islam, and they take so much abuse and so much heartache and so much everything to worship Allah in their everyday actions. And you know, I love wearing hijab. I love being a Muslim who is a visible Muslim, and these days it doesn't bother me anymore. Like, people want to give me abuse, fair enough, go for it. If you're abusing me, you're not abusing somebody else who can't take it, because I can take it. But I never knew what it was to be hated until I put it on, and the first time that somebody came up to me and told me that they hated me, didn't even know me, they knew nothing about me, and they told me they hated me simply because I had a piece of material on my head. And so yeah, it changed a lot putting hijab on, but alhamdulillah, I love it. I look in the mirror every day and I feel stronger for it. I look in the mirror every day and I go, I know what I'm supposed to be doing today. But yeah, it reminds me every day the kind of Muslim that I'm supposed to be, and I never quite live up to it, and astaghfirullah, please forgive me for it. But yeah, every day it reminds me that I'm supposed to do better than I did yesterday.
I mean, there's nothing I can really say that hasn't already been said. Most hassle that I got to start off with was from my own family. You know, and it wasn't like a full hijab like I'm wearing now. It was like a proper turban style, big hoop earrings. Like, you know, I was trying to, like, I was going all out, like, you know, let's kind of do this. And it was like, I was criticised by my own family. It was just like, what is that on your head? Like, you know what I mean? Why are you choosing to do this? And like, I'm choosing to do it because for me, it was a symbolisation of my commitment to my relationship with Allah. I looked in the mirror and the development started to change. So the way that I started to wear my hijab changed, became like this. It became more covered, and then it was like, okay, I'm going to start wearing a abaya. But that wasn't, nobody pushed me into that, or nobody, like, you know, it wasn't like a forced thing. Like, that was my own choice to do that. I remember having this conversation, like, with my mum and with certain family members, and just like, listen, okay, this is just outward. Who I am is still the same.
The good side about wearing hijab and being a visible Muslim is it makes you so strong. You know, you don't care what anybody thinks. I do not ask these three, they know me better than anything. I do not seek anyone's validation or approval when it comes to me and how I look or my belief. I'm unapologetic about being Muslim because it's the most beautiful thing I've came across on
I'm
this
totally
earth.
all about that. The thing I always kind of like try to remind myself is as well is like these tests, they are from God. Like they are from God. Like this world is not meant to be easy. Okay, you don't need to be miserable, but they're just tests and it won't last forever. This is just a life test and it's a life lesson. It's never personal. It should never be taken as a personal thing, because the minute you start making it personal, that's when you start to have all this anger, this hatred, this everything, and then that makes you no better than the person that you're trying to go against, or the person that you're trying to make to understand.
So one question, I'll just limit you all to kind of 20 seconds each.
Okay. I might as well just leave just now.
This kind of question was kind of submitted in advance, which was, do you have any advice for either new Muslims or for long-time Muslims to support new Muslims?
For new Muslims, it would be take your time. Rome wasn't built in a day. Have a balanced pace, so not too slow, not too fast. Also, make sure that the first thing you're learning, the foundation you're built on, is understanding and connecting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Know what He is, His attributes, everything. That is probably the best advice I could give. When it comes to raised Muslims, it would be, don't just see the reversion, see the person. People find Islam in really, really dark places, so know that they are not going to be perfect. They're going to have flaws. You might not even like their personality, but you as a Muslim still have a duty. They still have a right over you. So see the person and give them the support that they need, which will be individual, because we're all different. And if you have influence in the community and the mosques, you know, like, try and do your part. Question what is there from reverts and what you can do, and try, inshallah, be a part of that. You know, that's what we are lacking. Yeah.
For reverts, it's your journey, not anyone else's journey. Do not allow anybody to jump on your bandwagon and drive that journey through, because you can only learn at your own pace and you can only connect with Allah in your own way. So don't let others force you into a way of practice that you don't want to do. You know, if you're not ready to be able to read the full Quran in Arabic, then you need to take your time over that. If you are not ready to wear hijab, then that's perfectly fine. This is your journey. Don't let other people force it. For born Muslims, remember that everyone's journey is their own journey. Stop judging. And also the fact, born Muslims, you have to remember, with what's natural to you is not natural to a revert. I'm left-handed. You have no idea the struggle it is to eat with my right hand. It is an actual struggle. I have to sit my left hand to remind myself to do that. So things that come naturally to you are not natural to reverts. Be patient, be understanding, and show them love, because that's what they need.
I'm just kind of really reiterating what's already been said, but don't let anybody pressure you, because sometimes when you first become Muslim, you're kind of like pushed into a corner. Like you're thinking, oh, like maybe you should act more like a Pakistani, or more like an African, or more like an Arab, when in fact, like, you may be none of those things. You may be from a completely different background. It's okay to have your own culture. The only thing is, like, if you find something in your culture that's against the Sharia, like, just slowly kind of replace it with better things that's more kind of in line with the Sharia, but never allow yourself to be forced. And I get a lot of people who come in who are reverts and they don't kind of know anything about who they are themselves, because they've had somebody else's culture pushed upon them, or had somebody else's brand of Islam pushed upon them. They've never really been allowed to explore themselves. So what I would say for new Muslims is take your time, explore yourself as who you are as a Muslim, find yourself who you are as a Muslim. For reverts who's been revert for a while, or even new reverts, be kind to yourself. Born Muslims, my dear born Muslims, okay? be kind. That's it, really. Just kind of be kind and realise. I think for me personally, the worst thing that born Muslims kind of done for me is like they put you on this pedestal, like, oh my God, you've reverted, and your sins are wiped clean, and everybody wants to be your friend, and the random person in the street is inviting you for dinner, and then a couple of months later, it's like, who is that sister again? Who is she? Be cool, be chill, go with the flow. You know, don't make it so so regimented, like, because sometimes we've grown up with certain ideals of Islam, and it's like, you must do this, you must do this, you must do that. And
Well, it's balance.
yeah, there's balance. Yeah.
Sometimes it's good to be like regimented, but it's not like when you like a lot of these girls hammer in way too hard. They're like, right, I'm going to win the cab. I'm going to move to Yemen. Sorry. Balance. Balance. Not too fast, not too slow. Balance all the way. Just find yourself in it, and that's anyone. Revert, raise Muslim, returning to faith, whatever it is. Just be yourself, find yourself in it, love it, and all that jazz.
Very fitting words to end on. So if we can give our panelists a round of applause. So thank you very much.